Drang is back, it's better than ever, and I encourage you to craft it. Go all the way, get the borders and craft it. Craft a couple of them, because this version of Drang can be the exact way that you want it to be. It comes with new perk combinations. It's one of my personal favorite weapons in the entire game, and because it's craftable, making 2 separate Drangs is warranted, one for PvE and one for PvP. Before I do a deep dive as to why this is one of the biggest winners of the season, a weapon that you're going to carry with you for a long time, a quick reminder, I am partnered with Apex Gaming PCs. I have 3 tiers, cool, cooler, and coolest. They have AMD processors, NVIDIA graphics cards, and they're customizable. And Apex Gaming PCs offer 24/7 customer support, worldwide shipping, a lifetime labor warranty, and more. And they also offer installment plans on their PCs with flexible financing. Go check them out with the link down below at the top of the description, and don't forget to use code CoolGuy to save up to $250 off of your order. Now, when it comes to Drang, what makes it so special? And first off, props to Bungie for not changing what really makes it special, because what makes it special is the engine that drives the sidearm. It was a vanilla Destiny 2 weapon, and vanilla Destiny 2 was double primary. It was paired with Sturm as a duo to play off of each other, and what sets Drang apart, that engine, is the inherent 1.4 times zoom. It equates to it basically having rangefinder built in for free, and having rangefinder for free, back then all the way up to right now, means that it's a dominant force in its engagement space. Most sidearms are 1.2 and 1.4, and to put that into perspective, that's the base hand cannon zoom. The same zoom level as Austringer, Cantata, Thorn, Ace of Spades. And Drang is somewhat of a tiny hand cannon. It has a base range of 17.9 meters, and when you compare it to other sidearms, and what I really want to drive home here is that engagement space. Like, look at this one. Some of you might remember this. This is the Enigma's Draw, 260 RPM, slow firing, hard hitting, and this is giving it everything it's got. It is farpoint, ricochet rounds, range masterwork, rangefinder, everything that it has. 18.48 meters, and remember, a lot of these perks that you add on for range give up weapon stat penalties. Then there's something like Peace Bond, Iron Reach, rangefinder. Mine has a range masterwork and extended barrel, but if it had all range, it's 18.9 meters. Again, everything that it's got. Just to get to that range, no other perks, just range. And these two extremes, we have 18.48, 18.9. Drang starts off at 17.9. And the thing about Drang, those were 2 small examples of extremes on other sidearms. Most sidearms aren't hitting that RNG, first of all. And most of the high-end range stats, most don't have rangefinder to help that even more. Most are sitting at 16 to 17.5, maybe 18 if they have good base stats. So it already has the most range out of all of them. But when you add on one range perk to Drang, like Full Bore, it goes to 18.5, so it's already beating that Enigma's Draw. That thing with Farpoint, Range Masterwork, Rangefinder, everything is 18.48, it already beats it. Then you add on Accurized, or Range Masterwork, it gets to 18.9, and then it matches Peace Bond. Then you have another range perk to add on, and you have full access to both perk columns. We needed to go through that, because in that engagement space, it's dominant. In PvE and the Crucible, the shots hit further, they hit cleaner, it's on its own level. Drang's the sidearm king. It pushes right into SMG range, and it can duel them. I've had extremely bad luck with the Drang red borders, and it's looking like I'm gonna get mine in 4 weeks, with the first focus of each week. I've obtained about 25-30 of them, only 1 red border. It is what it is, but I know where I'm going with it. I first want to start with the barrel and mag, since it has that vanilla DNA in it. It has strong, very strong base stats. 35 range, that's more than made up for because of the zoom factor. 60 stability, 71 handling, 70 aim assist, and this thing has an 18 round magazine. 18, just go with it. So for that barrel and mag, strong stats, strong base magazine. For PvE and the Crucible, I suggest just leaning even further all the way into that strength. Hammer Forged, Accurized, Range Masterwork. I wouldn't go full bore. You don't need to take away handling and stability. Besides that +5 range from Hammer Forged to full bore, the fall off goes from 19.15 to 19.36. You get way more traction out of those lost stats than that added range. In all areas of the game, with that range, it shoots further, it's got a cleaner shot, and all those stats are fine. I would lean heavily into that strength. That's what I'm gonna do. For the perks, the best thing about it, and if you thought it couldn't get better, it does, you aren't really forced into combinations. You aren't really backed into a corner because only a few things work well. There's a ton of things that work well because the base weapon is strong. So anything added is just all on top to really complement what you like to do with your playstyle. Because the base weapon by itself, with no perks even, it's just as strong when others are trying to be at full force. as I kind of showed with Peace Bond, Enigma's Draw. In the left column, we have Disruption Break. This also works in the Crucible. And pretty soon, they do have a hotfix coming for anti-barrier sidearm. It's going to be really good against those barrier champions. When you break the shield of an enemy, you get 50% more kinetic damage for 5.5 seconds. Always good in PvE, but it works the same in the Crucible. You break the shields, you get 50% more kinetic damage. So there's a lot of healing and restoration going on. Like every game, there are people doing this. And when you do put damage on them, it's just like you turn on the light and a cockroach is in the middle of the room. They kind of freak out, they scurry, dodge, go right into a healing grenade, come back out full health. But with Disruption Break, look what happens. Cool. So Disruption Break is beneficial in all areas of the game. We have moving target, great base aim assist to 70, this gets it to 80, you get a faster strafe for dueling. Well-rounded, it can work, but there are some better perk options to choose from. We have Quick Draw, S tier for it, especially if you're sniping. Wellspring, it's a dark horse. If you get a kill, that kill gives you 8% ability energy to all of your uncharged abilities, and if only one is uncharged, it gets the full 8%. Enhanced gives even more energy. Eye of the Storm, another dueling perk. As you get low, you gain accuracy, a lot of accuracy. In the last column, Vorpal Weapon, nothing wrong with it on a sidearm. It shreds supers in PvP, deals more damage to bosses and vehicles in PvE. Zen Moment, more for controller players to help with the recoil, bounce, and shake. And some of you might go this route, and it's okay if you do. I'm personally not going there, because I think the base recoil, the shooting experience of Drang is great, it's predictable, and it's solid. Incandescent, crazy good perk. Defeating a target, spread Scorch to enemies nearby, and more powerful combatants and guardians make it spread in a larger radius. The enhanced version makes the Scorch last longer. Turnabout, it's niche. I think there are other better perks. Rampage, it's solid. Times 1 stack is 10% more damage. Times 3 is 33%. Swashbuckler, solid. It stacks times 5. Times 1 is 6.6% more damage. Times 5 is 33% more. And melee final blows go immediately to times 5, 33%. So for PvE, you can do amazing things with Incandescent. That's where I'm going to be going, because on Solar, adding in the artifact's Ray of Precision, while Radiant, precision final blows cause combatants to ignite, you pair that with the fragments. Torches, powered melee attacks make you become Radiant. Eruption, your ignitions have an increased area of effect. Ashes, you apply more Scorch stacks to your targets. Char, ignition spreads Scorch to other targets. Empyrean, Solar, ability final blows or Solar weapon final blows extend the duration of Restoration and Radiant. The main three are going to be Ashes, applying more Scorch stacks, Torches, powered melee attacks make you become Radiant, and then Char, the ignition spreads Scorch. In Drang is Solar, all of this works together, and it means that a headshot on an enemy while you're Radiant will cause them to ignite, and it spreads lots of Scorch, and it causes more ignitions. Collateral's all over. It's almost as if you're using an exotic. You then pair that with things like Dawn Chorus, Burning Steps, or the Hunter Ahamkara build. There's ignitions everywhere. Very, very strong. And with Drang, you can be accurate. That way you can get those final blow headshots. And as for the pairing, Wellspring. From what I've seen, all of those collaterals will proc Wellspring energy. So confirm that for me down below in the comment section, because if it does, that's the clear winner. You get one headshot in a group, you delete the group, and you're fed energy. You also can't go wrong with Disruption Break instead. But the Solar kit, with what you can do, Wellspring looks like it's going to shine. I'm personally going Incandescent, Wellspring, max range. But aside from that, you can't go wrong with Disruption Break Rampage, Disruption Break Swash, especially on Hunter where you can just keep throwing those knives. Disruption Vorpal, they all can work. There's a ton of options. But if you don't throw melees, Swashbuckler isn't really going to work for you. If you don't want to be tied to Solar, Incandescent isn't really going to work for you. It's going to be okay, but not at full force. So you still have things like Rampage. You have things like Disruption Break. It's a great PvE tool that's catered to what you want to do with it, but Incandescent stands way out in the Solar kit. And for the Crucible, we have some interesting things going on here. There's some things to know. What I plan to do is I will be using the PvE Incandescent that I make in the Crucible sometimes, because with Incandescent in the Crucible, you're seeing it with Quick Draw. After you land that final blow, it's going to spread Scorch, and that Scorch, A, is kind of used like the Thorn Burn. You can see where enemies are going through walls, but B, if they're in close quarters, you're going to be in close quarters with Drang. The Scorch will do enough damage where you can get a relaxed TTK with a body shot in there. So that's worth it. It deals 51 to the head, 36 to the body. It's got a lightning fast, sit you down 0.6 TTK with all headshots. If it takes 5 bullets, it's a 0.8. So with the Incandescent, if they're scorched, if you can go 3 crit 1 body, even better. I've played a ton with it and it does work, but I wouldn't recommend going out of your way to craft one with Incandescent just for the Crucible. I would craft 2 of them and use the PvE one there if you'd like to. So that leaves some other options for the Crucible. Like, do you want to straight duel with it? Do you want to get crazy damage? How do you want that damage to be? And that's going to depend on how you play. Because in that left column, we have dueling perks, moving target, quick draw, Eye of the Storm. Seriously, whatever route you go between these 3 is fine. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because with how you play, each one is going to mean something a little bit different. Like me, When I craft mine, I'm going to be crafting Quick Draw because Drang is a #1 pairing for a sniper, and I love to snipe. But even if I run double primary, Sturm, Ace of Spades, Drang is an excellent cleanup with Quick Draw. Or if people are trying to rush you down, you bring it out quick, you pop them with that 0.6 and move on. And there's also Disruption Break. I want to bring this up because true story, when I reviewed this thing 3 years ago, my main role for PvE and the Crucible was Disruption Break Swashbuckler. And the very first Drang that fell to me a couple weeks ago was that combination. I immediately masterworked it. It has damage, it has shield breaking, and with all the healing going on, it comes up. And I used it back then because of Wormhusk and OEM and other things, and it's just as good now. So that's an option. And in that right column, we have Vorpal Weapon. Use that if you want, but it's mainly going to be Rampage or Swashbuckler. If you don't really get melee final blows, or if you don't go for them, don't go Swashbuckler. It's simple. But I can tell you something very special happens with Swashbuckler and Drang and Solar 3.0. When you get that charged melee final blow, maybe a hammer, Celestial Fire, Throwing Knife, you get Swash ×5 and you become Radiant because of the fragment. That Swash and Radiant stacking makes the crit go to 75, a 3-tap, a 0.4, and 0.4 is barely reactable. It's just a deletion. And when it comes to dueling, the ×1 stacks matter. And this is the difference maker. Rampage ×1 goes from 51 to 56 to the head, 40 to the body. So there is a potential for a 2-head, 2-body, 192 damage. Higher resilience is going to survive. So you would need 3 crit, 1 body most of the time. Swash ×1 goes from 51 to 54 and 39 to the body. So it's also a 3 crit, 1 body at ×1 swash. So what you need to know, most of the time, you're going to be doing a 3 crit, 1 body at ×1 with either one. Maybe Rampage can sneak in a 2-head, 2-body, but they're mostly going to be the same. However, Swashbuckler has the higher ceiling because of the melee final blows. So for my craft, I'm going max range, Hammer Forged, Accurized, Range Masterwork, Quick Draw, Swashbuckler. That's for me, because I'm going to be using this to snipe with. I'm going to be throwing melees. I'm going to be getting melee final blows. I'm going to be going for those. And I also have that random roll, non-crafted Disruption Break Swash roll to fall back on. But for you though, figure out what you want so it can complement how you play. There might be some of you where Disruption Break Rampage is fine. Like that's it, PvE and the Crucible. Some might want Moving Target, Zen Moment, Eye of the Storm, Rampage. There is not a bad route to go. But the most important thing isn't elevating Drang, it's making Drang elevate you. Because Drang can and will do that. Get one, get a couple of them, and I recently put out a Forgiveness review, the Trial Sidearm, and it's okay to like that thing. Some of the comments were acting like I was putting down their newborn or something, but I still stand by what I said. It isn't really that special, it's middle of the pack, and again, this dude exists. Drang's a weapon that's gonna stay around. It's still the king of sidearms. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about Drang down below. I also want to know your red border luck. Mine's been abysmal, like as bad as it could be. Also remember, go check out Apex Gaming PCs, and I would love to hear your thoughts on Drang. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.